Oh my God, there are so many problems out there. There are pandemics, it's a crisis, it's governments, it's elections, it's fine. Are you sick of listening to all that? Are you tired of it? Okay, so my question to you is, what can you do about it? What can one person do? And I'm going to tell you a little story, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm going to tell you a story because there is something you can do. And there's something you can do that's going to help you make good money. It's going to give you a lot of reach. It's going to change a lot of people's lives. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel great about it, okay? And that is to build your brand. And how are you going to build your brand? Your brand is going to be consistent of a high-performance team, a Delta Force, SEAL-type team of people coupled with some good technology, and you can take on the world. So here's the story. Back in the early 1980s, I met Robert Kiyosaki. He had just come back from Vietnam. He didn't want to fight and kill people anymore. What he wanted to do is he wanted to elevate humanity. And we both started studying Dr. Buckminster Fuller together when Fuller said the same question. What could one person do? Is it possible to make a difference? And so Robert, Kim, and his wife, and myself, Robert, Kim, and I, left Hawaii in the mid-'80s, bound and determined that we were going to make a difference in the world. We were going to leave Hawaii, come back to the mainland, and we were going to make a difference. And we promptly all went broke. Yeah, broke. I mean, broke. I mean, we were like living in people's on couches and people's cars and borrowed cars, and it was a mess because the world wasn't ready and we weren't ready. We didn't know what we were doing. So if you've had some ups and downs, understand that we've all been there. But as you go along, as you move toward whatever your mission is, which comes first, what's the mission? The Rich Dad mission was to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. My mission was to transform the marketplace around the world. That, in fact, there will be some bumpy times. But if you've got a great team, your team will keep you going. So what's the enemy? What's the resistance? What's the real villain out there? Well, the real villain is not governments, it's not regulations, it's not pandemics, it's not coronavirus. You know what it really is? Education, the lack thereof. We all went through an educational system that is designed to keep you from seeing the big picture. Be good, do as you're told, comply, and you were rewarded for specializing and doing things on your own. You were not rewarded or encouraged to operate in teams unless you played sports. They call that cheating in school. We call it collaboration. So as you're building your brand, whatever your brand is and whoever it is you're trying to become in the world, the key asset is your brand, but the second asset is your team. So keep in mind that if you're a solopreneur out there, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to make a difference. If you're going to make a difference, we took on the approach, building teams. Did all the teams work? No. Were all the teams great? No. Did we have horrible breakups and disasters with teams? Absolutely. But through all of it, you learn who is on your team and who wants to be on your team. You don't need a lot of them. You just need a few good ones. Your number one liability, the number one issue, the liability that you have, as I've said in a video before, is your inability to communicate. So for us, the story was, how do we learn to communicate better? How do we learn how to sell better? And as we kept studying, we had the ups and the downs. I had a trucking company that went boom and bust and boom and bust. Robert had his nylon wallet company that went boom and bust and boom and bust. So we've all gone through those processes and the journey, but we never lost sight of the mission. And the mission was, the more people we serve, the more effective we become in each of our respective missions. So my question to you is, what is yours? And how good of a leader are you? And who are the team members that you attract? Or are you attracting anybody? Or are you repelling them? One person can truly make a difference. The first program Robert and I tried to teach, we taught together because we were so afraid of being in front of a room at the time. Only 2 people showed up. One was actually in the wrong place. Now we broadcast to millions. And you can too, if you understand the steps I'm talking about. What's your mission? What's the message? Who's your team? Okay? And what kind of a leader are you? High performance entrepreneurs know that in order to get anything done that they want to get done, they need all of those elements. Your brand, which we'll talk about in other videos, is partly based upon your reputation. And what's your reputation based on? Consistency. Anytime a person comes into one of my programs, they should rest assured that when they leave, that's going to be a transformational experience. Every time. Every time. Now, does it happen every time? I don't know if it happens every time, but that's my goal, and we drive for that, and there's more yeses than there are no's on that one. So the question is, every time you serve, is it a transformational experience, and are people getting more than they bargained for? Whatever it is you're trying to do in the world. Warren Buffett said it really well. I'm going to end with this one for now. Warren Buffett said it takes years to build a good reputation, but it only takes minutes to ruin it. And he also said that when you start thinking about your reputation that way, that you could ruin it in minutes, you start thinking about it differently. You start thinking about what you say, what you do, how you show up, who you have on your team. So my advice to you today is this. Your journey, your story can be just as miraculous if you're willing to follow the steps that we figured out, but now I'm sharing those with you. Mission, team, leadership. Mission, team, leadership, and the ability to communicate. Okay? Build your brand. Be amazing and change a lot of lives.